Fastline Auctions, the ultimate destination for online farm equipment auctions. Looking to list equipment? Fastline Auctions knows farmers, and farmers have trusted Fastline for their equipment needs for over 45 years. With unmatched digital reach and direct-to-farmer catalogs, they can find the right buyer for your equipment. Not to mention, they have the industry's lowest commission rates. If you're looking for equipment to buy, you can bid with confidence. No buyer premiums, no reserves, just integrity. Fastline Auctions, your trusted platform for hassle-free, cost-effective farm equipment auctions. Visit fastline.com for more information. That's fastline.com.
Stories behind the ag brands we love and the ag brands we love to hate. What color is your tractor? With Chrissy Wozniak.
Hi, and welcome to What Color is Your Tractor? I'm Chrissy Wozniak. The story we're telling today is a little bit different. We usually talk to big iron manufacturers about their equipment. Today, we're talking to a company who helps move new and used farm equipment in every single color. With 6 to 8 million annual visitors to their website and approximately 25 million page views a year, Fastline knows the industry and they know it well. From Louisville, Kentucky, I'd like to welcome President of Fastline Marketing Group, Dean Barke. Welcome, Dean, and thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely, Chrissy. Thank you so much for making time for me to come on the show. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. So first of all, tell me about your background and your personal history with Fastline.
Yeah, so actually I'm from the Louisville area. I grew up here, spent most of my career here as well. I went to school down in Western Kentucky, and then also took some jobs around the area. I did move up to Chicago for a little bit, but for the most part have stayed pretty close to home here from the Louisville, Kentucky. Most of my background is actually on the operations side, financial side. Grew up coming through that rank, CPA, controller, CFO, and then ultimately now into the president's role at Fastline Marketing Group. Super thrilled. It's a great opportunity for me. And like I said, just love to give back and love to be involved in the agricultural community.
That's awesome. So tell me about Fastline. Where did the company start?
So Fastline started as the Ohio Farmers Fastline back in 1978. It started in Ohio, and it was a single publication to the farmers there, connecting the dealers with the farmers and equipment. And from there, we've kind of grew, and now we're all across the United States. So Bill Howard's our CEO and our owner and our founder. He's the one that started it all the way back in 1978 in Ohio, and it's carried on today all across the United States. And we've really grown throughout all those years.
Wow. And over the years, you've grown to offer so many different services into the ag industry. So can you tell me more about that evolution and what you've added along the way?
Yeah, so we certainly are proud of our farm publications. That was our starting point, and super proud of that because we do connect dealers to the farmers, and we actually mail our catalogs directly to the home of the farmers. No one else does that within our particular space. So that's certainly what makes us unique. Proud of that heritage, proud of that background. Like I said, we're all across the United States. But as the market's kind of shifted over the last 4 or 5 years, we really changed our game as well. We've invested millions and millions of dollars on the digital side of things. We see that's where the marketing is moving in most cases. So we bolstered up our digital capabilities, and we now offer a full suite of digital marketing solutions, more so than anybody else within our particular space. We also have AI intelligence. And we also have a very strong social media presence. We actually have more social media followers than anybody else within our particular space as well, with over 400,000 social media followers. So we really tried to build out a full complement of solutions to certainly help our dealers and then also provide insightful data and information to the farmers, most importantly.
Yeah. So where is Fastline going? What lays ahead for you?
Yeah, so you're going to see some interesting things probably in 2023. I mean, we really are kind of moving more and more towards being more of a data type of a company. So we are sitting on a treasure trove of data, especially, through all of these years of mailing out the publications. We have a great amount of information on the ag community. I mean, we know a lot of the demographic information, crops, acreage all across the United States. And then we also, with AI, can tell more who's in market to actually purchase farm equipment. So you're going to see us move a lot more forward on the data side here in 2023 and moving forward. And we really want to try to be more engaged, more involved with the farmers. We want to provide insightful information and insightful data to them that can be useful to help them in their roles and help them within their farms and their businesses.
Right. And give me some examples of some of this data that you can pull.
Yeah, so we can, like I said, I kind of touched on it briefly, but we can tell you exactly, who's in the market, or at least who's shopping on Fastline.com. So, for example, Chrissy, if you came to our site, if you looked at whatever color tractor we want to look at here, green or orange or red, when you're looking at them, I mean, we can tell, which pieces of equipment that you've looked at, how many times that you've actually come in. So, that type of information can be very powerful for the dealers. And it also can be very helpful for the farmers too, because at the end of the day, if that's what you're looking for, we can help connect you with the pieces of equipment that you're really wanting to purchase and go out and buy.
Yeah, that's really important. So, I'm sure all of our listeners know about Fastline, probably receive the catalog over the years, have visited the website. But what are some things that you don't think people would necessarily know about the company?
Yeah, so I tell you what, I mentioned Bill earlier on in our conversation here. There's really not a better person to be associated with and to work with. Bill Howard, like I said, he started the company back in 1978. Got a heart of gold. He's been all through the ag community, extremely well known. Has a heart of gold. Bill is very passionate about his employees. He's very passionate about our community. So we live in a small county, Oldham County, right outside of Louisville, Kentucky. So we're more ag predominant here within Oldham County. Give back a lot to the community. And then also he's extremely passionate about the farmers and in the agricultural community. So he's built he's gotten his own small acreage farm as well. And really just loves to be involved in agriculture.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I heard that you used to feature tractors on the cover.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
Yeah, it used to be, and that's something we're looking to maybe try to get back into as we move forward in 2023 and beyond. So we used to always feature an antique tractor on the cover of our publications, and we got such a great response from that. So a lot of farmers would actually mail in or put their pictures of their antique tractor on social media. And what we would do is we would gather it, and then we would basically let them know that it's going to be on the cover of edition 6 in whatever particular state that they live in. And so some of the feedback that we got from that was just incredible. I would be at farm shows and folks would come up to me and say, listen, my tractor was on the front cover of your publication, back in this edition and this year. They would remember all of that. And they'd said, listen, they'd have a framed copy in their living room of that particular edition. So it was just so touching to us because it just showed that we really made an impact. We've made an impact within the agricultural community, which is what it's all about. And we want to do that so much with the farmers. And then, just to be able to have folks being so proud of receiving our catalogs and actually having their tractors on the covers of our catalogs, that really means something. That's one of those things that really keeps you going as a company, knowing that you're making a difference and an impact out there with the agricultural community.
For sure. I love that. That's really great. I love that, even to keep them and frame them. And that's just so cool. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they're all over the place. And when I'm out there traveling, some people will see us out with the Fastline hats and they're like, are you associated with Fastline? I'm like, yes, I am. And they would just tell those particular stories about the tractors, and other people would tell stories too about how they actually, and I'm not making this up, they actually learned to read by going through our publications because that was just a big part of their life growing up, is they just remembering the Fastline publication. So again, just being able to touch folks in that regard just shows that we've been able to make an impact within the community, and that's what our whole sole purpose is.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the industry. I guess that supply chain disruptions that were devastating manufacturers would have opened some very profitable doors for people selling used equipment. So can you tell me what happened over the last 2 years and, kind of a brief summary of this crazy roller coaster that nobody could have ever predicted?
Absolutely. Yeah. Who would have thought, when COVID hit that, obviously everybody was concerned about our safety and health, with everything, but who would think about all the ripple down effects that would come from COVID? So absolutely, you're 100% right on the supply chain. I know we all felt it and lived it. And it did create some unbelievable situations on the used equipment side of things. It was basic supply and demand issues, right? So the supply wasn't there. So from a demand standpoint, you could able to really increase your price. And we saw that all over the place. It was very profitable. If you could go out and sell a piece of equipment, it was certainly a profitable position for folks. And I think that was another reason that you saw auctions so successful, because just the supply wasn't there. So when there was some type of supply, bidders would certainly resonate, and the interest or the need for those pieces of equipment would grow, and then that's where you would see some of that those unbelievable prices that were out there. Not only in ag, but you saw that with cars and all kinds of different industries throughout the last couple of years. It was pretty amazing time for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And what are you seeing now?
Yeah, things are starting to normalize a little bit, which is encouraging for all of us. I've seen it firsthand. Being out there in the Midwest, traveling to our dealers. Starting to see used equipment inventory starting to normalize a little bit. It's consistent with what I'm hearing at some conferences. Been to the North American Equipment Dealers Association conference in Nashville, and there was a similar one this week down in the Deep South. Same type of trends from some of the folks there, that things are starting to normalize on the used equipment piece, which is going to be very important, and it's encouraging for all of us.
Yeah, for sure. And what about parts? What did you see in terms of people, waiting on parts?
Yeah, a little bit on the parts side. It didn't really, we do a lot of parts advertising, but it really didn't impact us that much from what I saw. I think some of the inventory levels may be a little bit greater on the parts side of things. So certainly not nearly to the impact that the equipment component had, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. And I'm hearing that many manufacturers have abandoned just-in-time manufacturing right like that, right? It was a great idea until 2020. And they've started sourcing material more locally. Do you think that this will kind of insulate the industry from future crises?
I think it will. I think it's a really smart move. I mean, again, who would have thought what would have happened over the last couple of years? But I think everyone's trying to adjust on it. And I certainly think that it will help with supply chain disruptions potentially as we move forward. I still think, we're probably another year out, I think, from the OEMs on the new pieces of equipment to right itself, probably through the end of 2023. But I do think, those type of process changes are going to be important and probably will help longer term on the supply chain side of things.
Right. Yeah. I just find how incredible it is, just how adaptable everybody is, looking backwards now and think, in that moment in March 2020, it was like, what are we going to do? But to see how far everybody came, it's really quite remarkable.
I agree with 100%. I mean, definitely, you're talking at a much bigger scale, but I'll give you an example even here. I mean, in most industries, obviously we're more on the office side of things. So, just remote workforce. Here, everybody worked, in the office before March of 2020. And now, a lot of folks remote. And, we've been able to make adjustments on our side as well as any other company in the United States. So I think you're starting to see more and more of that stick as we move forward. So, whether it's supply chain adjustments or even, on the office side of things, most companies are trying to make adjustments as a result of it. And you're right. It is funny. It's less than 3 years ago. Remarkable some of the changes that have taken place.
Yeah, for sure. What are some trends that you've noticed through the years when it comes to the economy? Are there trends that give you a heads up on what could be coming down the line?
Yeah, definitely right now is an interesting time, right? When you're seeing inflation as high as it possibly has been. Of course, the last couple of months, things are starting to reset slightly and normalize a little bit. Interest rates certainly continuing to rise, and the Fed's made it pretty clear that they're going to continue to see that. So, all of those things are a little bit concerning for me, when we're talking about the ag space, especially with some of those farm loans, that might be out there, with some of the higher interest rates. I'm certainly concerned a little bit about that. I do think commodity prices, although they were at a high there at the end of 2022 and made just for a banner year within ag, which was great to see. It was a blessing for all of us. They're declining a little bit, but it does seem like some of the input costs associated are dropping as well. So I still think 2023 is going to be a very good year within the ag space. Probably not as good as 2022, but those only come along ever so often. So I still think it's a bullish time for the ag space, but you don't get to say very often. So we'll take it while we can.
For sure. And ag tech is important on today's farm equipment, of course. The rapid adoption of precision ag has been happening for a few decades now. How do you see the adoption of autonomous solutions proceeding? I'm sure you're probably not seeing too many autonomous solutions in Fastline yet, or are you?
Not so much here at Fastline, but you're right. I mean, some of the innovations that are out there, within the space are just incredible. I was at a show. I was at the Nebraska Ag Expo, I think back in early December, and just some of the things there, I really got a chance to spend like 2 full days there. And I don't always get to do that because in most cases I'm at our booth, talking to the farmers and talking to our customers, which is important, obviously. But I actually got to walk around and just to see some of the technology that's going on and some of the precision and the ability for everyone to be able to drive and steer those tractors. It's incredible. I mean, it's incredible some of the things that are out there. So amazing to see.
Yeah, definitely. And smart technology on ag equipment is becoming so much more efficient. And then with fewer and fewer farms feeding more people, today's farming has to be as efficient as possible, right?
Absolutely.
So are current manufacturers on the right track, do you think, to help provide those solutions?
I think so. I mean, like I said, what I saw there in Nebraska was incredible. I think there's a tremendous amount of investment dollars that are going that direction. I think it is important, as you said. I mean, there's less and less folks, unfortunately, that are really working and that are out there on the farms. And so you have to be efficient. You absolutely do.
Yeah. And now let's change tracks again. We're going to start talking about color, about agriculture branding, because that's what really intrigues me for sure. So why do you think tractor color means so much to multiple generations of farmers?
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time, right? What color are you? This and that. And I think it's really twofold from my experience. One, I mean, it's obviously a family heritage for folks that are on the farm, right? I mean, there's generation after generation, and that's what makes this industry so special in my mind. Is it's just a very family focused, and you're just going from generation to generation. So there's a lot of heritage there around, what color tractor that you had, and you're passing that down from generation to generation. So I think that's a piece of it, obviously. But the other piece that maybe we don't talk about, as much is there's just phenomenal branding. I mean, the colors of tractors, right? When you're talking Deere, Kubota, Case, all of them. I mean, these are phenomenal brands, and they've done a great job of branding themselves to a particular color. And I think it's just a combination of those two things. I mean, they both sides. There's a lot of heritage. There's obviously on the farm side, there certainly is, but there's also quite a bit of heritage with those brands as well, and they know exactly what they're doing. So,
yeah, for sure. And then with going forward, with big companies acquiring the standalone manufacturers, like CNH and AGCO, for example, owning many competing brands under one company, do you think that brand loyalty will continue into the future?
I think you're always going to see some level of brand loyalty, but you hit on a couple of things already. I mean, with COVID the last couple of years, some of the supply chain shortages, I think it did probably have folks cross line just out of necessity, right, to be able to get some type of equipment. I think the other thing is too, that's going to be important is some of the technological advances that you talked about as well. It's going to be important for each one of the brands to stay up, I think, in my opinion, to par from a technology standpoint. So if there's another brand that's maybe advancing themselves further technologically wise or precision wise, that could alter, some of the color changes, I guess I would say, within the space. So it's going to be important technology wise. And then too, also pricing and income is always going to be, another key factor. And then the other thing, that we deal with a lot on our space is some of the equipment dealers. So, if if you have a local dealer or two that's not performing or that you're not getting the results for particularly, it could be another reason to potentially change. I think you're always going to see some heritage there with color, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be as strong probably as what it once was. I think actually there was a study out a couple of years ago from Farm Equipment that brand loyalty had dropped by about 5 to 10%. So I think with COVID, you're gonna potentially see a little bit less of that, but I think it'll always still exist somewhere.
Yeah, that's good. And with fewer farms, fewer decision makers, running more acres, it's getting tougher for salespeople to reach those decision makers. So, do you have any advice to give manufacturers and their salespeople on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly right up in our wheelhouse on the Fastline side of things. I think that's where we could potentially help those folks, connect with the right people that are in the market to purchase farm equipment. We can certainly help them from a marketing standpoint. Be judicious and I guess be precise. You talk about precision. Be precise with your marketing dollars and connect to the people that are actually in the market to purchase equipment. And the same on the farmer side. I would welcome them to try us out there at fastline.com, because we can put you in touch with some of the pieces of equipment that you're looking for and hopefully have you not have to go to multiple different sources.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. What can manufacturers do to retain the customer's brand loyalty going forward? They're going to have to pivot, right? Everybody jokes about how many sweatshirts and caps, ball caps can you have to build this brand loyalty. But what are some other ideas? I know at Fastline, I've seen at shows, you come up with some pretty cool ways to make yourself seen at trade shows. So what do you recommend?
Yeah, I think definitely, some of the technology advancements are going to be key. I think, in my opinion, those are the type of things that are really going to set folks apart. And if you're staying up with that from a precision standpoint, you're going to have a very good chance to kind of drive brand loyalty. But there's always creative things that you can do as well, whether it's swag and merchandise and all those things. But technology is going to be extremely important. It already is today, but I think that's going to be the bread and butter to it. And I think that's part of the reason that you're seeing all the investment dollars taking place within the precision ag and the space. I think people are already keen to that, and that's why some of those advancements are taking place.
Yeah, that's really good. Really, really good, great points, actually. And then I've got one last question for you. What color is your tractor?
Oh my gosh, I'll tell you, there's so many great options out there because we do business with all of them. I mean, I can tell you a lot of great things that are going on with each particular brand at the moment. So let me just put it this way. You can't go wrong with any color tractor. How about that?
Yeah, that's it. As long as it's running, right?
As long as it's running, that's right. Yeah, you can get parts for it and you can find it, which now you can find it as we move forward here with supply chain things improving. So
yeah, that's the important thing these years.
That is right. That's right. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Dean, for joining me today. Great conversation. And it was really neat to kind of get out of, to get more of a broad view of tractors, not just one color at a time, right?
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for the opportunity. I had a really good time talking with you. And like I said, just happy to be serving the ag community. It's no better spot to be.
Wonderful. And thanks to all who are watching or listening. If you want to learn more, the links are provided in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe to North American Ag Spotlight and What Color is Your Tractor, both on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, AgFuse channels, and the podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And have a great day.